On Osrc News at 7, stakeholders urge joint efforts to eradicate poverty as World Commemorates Day. National Orientation Agency clarifies proper national symbol usage. Senate to mediate ASU federal government disputes amid incessant strikes. From the foreign scene, UN condemns Madagascar coup, calls for peace. Thank you very much for joining us on the news tonight. My name is Oyewumi Ayinibara. Engineers have been urged to uphold professionalism, embrace emerging technologies, and play a key role in advancing Nigeria's infrastructure development. This was the focus at the 21st International Conference and Exhibition on Power and Technical Communication, ICEPT 2025, organized by the Nigerian Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, NIEEE. The event, held in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, drew captains of industries, regulators, and engineers from across the country. Blessing Obi reports.
It was a convergence of engineers, policymakers, and key stakeholders at the 21st International Conference and Exhibition on Power and Telecommunication, organized by the Nigerian Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, NIEEE, with the theme Digital Infrastructure and Innovation for Inclusive Economic Growth. The conference underscored the importance of harnessing modern technology and innovation to achieve sustainable development in Nigeria. In his welcome address, President of NIEEE, Felix Olu, said the theme was carefully chosen to address Nigerians' persistent infrastructural gaps and promote national growth through technology-driven solutions.
Digital infrastructure and innovation for inclusive economic growth. A focus on the artery through which the blood of development flows in the present technological growth as the world passes through the fourth industrial revolution. It is a relevant topic to address Nigerian situation, and there are many technical papers for discussion in this year's edition.
Ondo State Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources, Johnson Alabi, described the conference a platform to generate actionable ideas that can accelerate national development. While acknowledging the nation's infrastructure challenges, he highlighted Ondo State's commitment to transforming policy into progress through initiatives like the Oda Tiwa Meters program.
As Nigeria confronts economic headwinds, the imperative to leverage digital technologies to upgrade our aging infrastructure and unlock new growth opportunities has never been more critical. This conference therefore provides a unique opportunity to forge practical solutions that will shape our national development agenda.
Participants emphasized the need for continuous professionalism, innovation, and collaboration among engineers to drive infrastructural transformation across critical sectors.
We know that this profession is very close to the community. Most of the time we see so many defects in the accident. But I want this opportunity, this seminar, this workshop, encourage all the members for them to brace up and ensure that whatever that is going to be acceptable to.
As technology and artificial intelligence continue to reshape industries globally, experts maintained the sustained investment in digital infrastructure remains crucial to positioning Nigeria for inclusive and sustainable economic growth. Blessing Obi, Osrc News.
The Director General of Under-State Radio Corporation, Osrc, Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, has pledged the media organization's readiness to partner with agencies in promoting Yoruba language journalism and cultural advocacy. He made the remark while receiving Dingy Odu as publisher and team on a courtesy visit to the station's headquarters in Orita Opele, Akure. Joy Pius tells us more.
Key staff from Dingy Odua magazine, comprising former and current independent broadcasters in OSRC, paid a courtesy visit to the media group's management at Orita Opele in Akure. Publisher Sunday Agbaje noted that the monthly publication, launched 7 months ago, was established to uplift Yoruba culture, values and heritage through meaningful contents. Drawing from about 2 decades at OSRC before his exit, Agbaje said his experience inspired the Yoruba language magazine. He called for collaboration on innovative ideas to elevate the station and sought support to boost the magazine's productivity. Director General OSRC, Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, speaking through the Director of Operations, Sunshine 96.5 FM, Alalaye, Bukola Ogunkwa, emphasized preserving Yoruba language and values in society, pledging support for the team.
Ọlọ́run la máa ń pè ní wí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n tí àwọn náà bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n máa ń dúró tì. Gbogbo nǹkan tí ẹ sọ àti gbogbo eléyìí náà tí àmọ̀ràn tí ẹ gbà wá gbogbo ẹ̀ náà látún padà lọ sílé táwọn gbé rẹ̀ wò táyé rẹ̀ wò sọ́tún sósì ẹsẹ̀ ìlú náà wípé gbogbo ẹ̀ náà yóò já sọ́pẹ́.
Giving the culture and values of Yoruba people its pride of place, providing a platform for community engagement and supporting cultural identity is key towards uplifting the Yoruba heritage. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
The National Orientation Agency has issued a public notice on the proper rendition and recitation of the national anthem and pledge at official and public events across the country. In a notice posted on its official X handle, the agency urged Nigerians to take note of the correct protocol for the rendition and recitation of the national anthem and pledge. According to the agency, only the first stanza of the anthem should be sung or recited at all official events, while the third stanza is to be rendered as a national prayer at the beginning of such occasions. The statement further explains that all 3 stanzas are to be sung or recited only on special national occasions such as Independence Day, Presidential Inauguration, Armed Forces Remembrance Day, Democracy Day, June 12, and the inauguration of the National Assembly. The NOA also directed that the national pledge should be recited at the end of every event. The clarification comes after President Bola Tinubu signed the National Anthem Bill 2024 into law, restoring Nigeria We Hail Thee as the country's anthem in place of Arise O Compatriots. You're still watching the news on Osrc television. We'll take a break for commercials. We'll be back shortly. Please stay with us.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. Then you need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Then stay in power, you find it all in peak. Then every move you make brings got you all the way. And the beat goes on.
Power on every morning with our Peak breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Thank you very much for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. The federal government has dismissed reports circulating online that the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board is no longer required for admission into tertiary institutions in the country. Some viral online posts had claimed that the federal government had abolished the use of JAMB for admissions into universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, and that individual institutions would henceforth conduct their own entrance examinations. In a statement by the Ministry of Education, the Minister Tunji Alausa described the claim as false, baseless, nothing that the viral post did not originate from the ministry. He reaffirmed that JAMB remains the statutory and legal empowered body responsible for conducting entrance examinations and coordinating admissions into all tertiary institutions across the country. The minister added that the established admission processes through JAMB remain fully operational and any contrary information should be disregarded in its entirety. The Academic Staff Union of University ASU has called on the federal government to improve funding for public universities. It warned that sustainable investment in education remained the only path to ending strikes and raising the global ranking of Nigerian universities. The union made its position clear when it appeared before the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund at the National Assembly. The ASU President Chris Piwuna, who spoke on behalf of the union, stated that the ongoing 2-week warning strike resulted from long-standing issues that dated as far back as 2011. According to him, the key demands of ASU, including sustainable funding, improved conditions of service, revitalization of public universities, and academic autonomy, remain unchanged. The union also challenged the Senate Committee to push the government to increase funding. Meanwhile, the Senate has reviewed plans that it will intervene in the industrial dispute between the Academic Staff Union of University ASU and the federal government. It expressed concern over the government's inability to meet ASU's demands, describing the situation as unacceptable. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund, Senator Aliyu Dantuse, made this known after a closed-door session with the leadership of ASU. He noted that the Senate would immediately initiate a negotiation process involving key stakeholders including ASU, the Ministry of Education, and the National Universities Commission (NUC) to chart a path towards a permanent resolution of the crisis. The committee further urged ASU to formally submit a comprehensive list of their demands in writing to allow the Senate to assess both immediate and long-term legislative and policy measures needed to address the challenges plaguing the sector. Still on education, the federal government has announced a new policy to institutionalize the teaching and learning of sign language in all basic education schools across Nigeria as part of efforts to promote inclusive education and ensure that no child is left behind. The Executive Secretary of the Universal Basic Education Commission (UBEC), Aisha Garuba, revealed this during the commemoration of the 2025 International Day of the Girl Child in Abuja. Garuba said the initiative underscores the government's commitment to inclusion, particularly in the education and empowerment of girls, noting that the administration of President Bola Tinubu recognizes education as the great equalizer with inclusion as its backbone. She explained that the new policy would make sign language instruction a compulsory part of the basic education curriculum nationwide, thereby creating communication-friendly learning environment for children with hearing impairment. She added that a policy framework is already in place to institutionalize the teaching and learning of sign language in schools across the country, alongside physical infrastructure upgrades such as ramps and accessibility features for learners with physical disabilities. The International Day for the Eradication of Poverty, observed annually on October 17, is dedicated to promoting understanding and solidarity with people living in poverty across the world. This observance calls on government, civil society, and the international community to renew commitment and take concrete actions towards ending poverty in all its forms globally, particularly by tackling the social and institutional barriers that perpetuate deprivation. Osrc's Adewumi Taiwo has the details.
The International Day for the Eradication of Poverty is a global reminder of the shared responsibility to uplift millions of people trapped in hardship. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, over 133 million Nigerians, representing about 63% of the population, are living in multidimensional poverty, deprived of access to healthcare, education, employment, and basic infrastructure. This reality underscores the urgency of joint action among government, development partners, and citizens to combat poverty and its ripple effects on national development. First observed in 1987 at the Trocadero in Paris, where the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was signed the day it was established to affirm that poverty is not inevitable but a violation of human dignity. Each year, the commemoration focuses on a specific theme, highlighting the need for inclusion, empowerment, and social justice as critical tools in breaking the cycle of deprivation. Some residents also stressed the need for government to intensify youth empowerment programs, provide job opportunities, and improve access to social amenities to reduce poverty and inequality. They added that with determination, hard work, and faith, a better future remains attainable.
Àwa òkè àwa ọmọ tó jẹ́ pé àwọn ọmọ mi báyìí wọn ò ní bàbá bọ́ọ̀tì àti téèyàn bá ní àti ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ kò ní nira téèyàn bá ní bọ́ọ̀tì tó sì bá wà kò mọ̀ séèyàn tó lè ran anybody lọ́wọ́ olùtàn gan máa sọ pé àtijẹ gan pé òun ò tí ì rí àtijẹ kí tóun ti lè máa ran èèyàn lọ́wọ́ so èèyàn ká má gbàdúrà kọ́lọ̀ ń jọ kó fìbùkún sí orílẹ̀-èdè yìí.
Because we can't base our lifestyles on living on government alone. We must make sure we do things that is very necessary.
Like outside, their government there paying them unemployment charges. Where in Nigeria, there's not like that. Then the youth self need to work. Government need to provide them job, because if there's job, if somebody is working, will be receiving, you'll be earning money. When you have money, you don't need to do anything like batting or stealing.
Speaking on the significance of the day, the Senior Special Assistant to the Ondo State Governor on Social Investment, Mr. Felix Alonge, explained that poverty eradication requires deliberate and sustained investment in human capital, skill development, and social protection. He commended the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Ondo State government for prioritizing job creation, youth empowerment and agricultural revitalization as pathways to lifting citizens out of poverty. He also appealed to Nigerians to continue supporting government initiatives aimed at inclusive growth.
Based on the World Bank recommendation, part of sustainable development goal, so they're leaving nobody behind, zero hunger, so that the people will be able to have a reasonable means of a livelihood. And I thank God with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has to copy the good aspect of Buhari's government. The name is a program, the New Hope agenda. And the issue of a social investment program is being taken very seriously from the previous government, particularly in this office, that I'm no special assistant on the social investment. We have about 4 or 5 programs that have actually impacted so much on the life of the people of Ondo State. We have the National Home Schooling Program, we have government enterprises and empowerment program known as a JIP, in which have money market, trader money and farmer money, in which those who engage in small businesses and small scale farmer holders are being taken care of and given some stipends. We have a labor intensive program known as LIPW, in which our able-bodied youths who have little or no education below school start engage in community activities.
The International Day for the Eradication of Poverty is not just a date on the calendar, it is a global call to action. By strengthening social safety nets, investing in education and entrepreneurship, and fostering an economy that works for all, Nigeria can move closer to a nation where no one is left behind. Together, through shared commitment and compassion, poverty can indeed become history. Adewumi Taiwo, OSRC News.
We go on another commercial break. Please to rejoin us.
Huge winning. High odds. Fast pay.
Bookmaker Company.
Thank you for rejoining us. Ekiti State's Governor Biodun Oyebanji has inaugurated the state farmer-grade warehouse to fight the menace of fake drugs and ensure the availability of quality drugs in the state. The governor also flagged off the distribution of equipment of primary healthcare centers in the state with the goal of ensuring improved life expectancy and sustaining the milestone reached in the control of child and maternal mortality rates in the state. Oyebanji speaking at the Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital at Ekiti during the launch of a new farmer-grade warehouse and PHC equipment distribution, said the project show government's commitment to public health. It is disclosed that the warehouse, built with the support of the Global Fund, stands as a key pillar of an effective and transparent drug management system and provides the DMA with the infrastructure it needs to operate at the highest professional standard. He noted that his administration has resolved to fight head-on the menace of drug counterfeiting that could predispose the citizens to sudden death at the surge of emergency ailments that had the capacity to cause death and infirmity in society. The federal government is set to launch a national campaign to promote made in Nigeria goods and services under the Nigerian First policy as part of efforts to revitalize the manufacturing sector. President Bola Tinubu made this known in Lagos at a lecture by the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria (MAN. The president noted that preliminary studies showed that such a campaign could boost the manufacturing sector by up to 6% and create over 500,000 jobs within the next 3 years. According to him, the campaign aims to shift national demand towards Nigerian products that meet global quality standards while also addressing the country's import dependency. He said his administration will continue to prioritize the growth of Nigeria's manufacturing sector through policies promoting production, consumption, and export of made-in-Nigeria goods. Tinubu urged members to uphold quality and transparency in production while collaborating with government agencies to share accurate data on capacity and pricing for effective policy planning. Another foreign scene, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has strongly condemned the recent unconstitutional change of government in Madagascar, calling for the immediate restoration of constitutional order and respect for the rule of law. Adirunke Kolawole tells us more.
The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has issued a strong condemnation of the recent unconstitutional change of government in Madagascar. He is now calling for an immediate restoration of constitutional order and respect for the rule of law in the country. In a statement delivered by the UN spokesperson, Stefan Dujarric, Guterres expresses backing of the African Union decision to suspend Madagascar from all activities within the bloc.
The Secretary General condemns the unconstitutional change of government power in Madagascar and calls for the return to constitutional order and the rule of law. He takes note of the decision taken by the Peace and Security Committee of the African Union to immediately suspend the country from participation in all activities of the African Union, its organs and institutions, until constitutional order is restored in the country. The Secretary General encourages all Malagasy stakeholders, including the youth, to work together to address the underlying causes of instability.
On Tuesday, a special military unit declared it was taking power in Madagascar and announcing that the UN is precedent following weeks in youth-led protests. About 75% of the country's 30 million people are affected by poverty, according to the World Bank, with the lack of access to higher education, government corruption, and the cost of living among the issues dominating the recent protest. Adirunke Kolawole, Osrc News.
And that report from the foreign scene concludes the story tonight. But before we go, another look at the major stories. As the world marks the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty, stakeholders have renewed calls for joint efforts to tackle deprivation. They stress the importance of collective action, investment in human capital, and inclusive growth to lift millions out of poverty. In another development, the National Orientation Agency has released new guidelines on the proper rendition of the national anthem and pledge at public events across the country. It also directed that the national pledge be recited at the end of every occasion. We also told you that the Senate has announced plans to step into the ongoing industrial dispute between the Academic Staff Union of Universities and the federal government. And from the foreign scene, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the coup in Madagascar, urging a quick return to constitutional order and respect for the rule of law. And that's the news tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.